What is up, guys? We're here with the inaugural episode of Hex19 Hangout. This is just a special little get-together we're doing through Google Plus Hangouts and recording. So we decided that we'd use this to answer a listener email, actually. So I'm Yuri Walkiw. I'm here with all the regular Hex19 co-hosts.
I'm Brett Commandeur, and I am in complete control of my own video.
Hey, Brett.
Shut up. It's not your turn yet.
So we got Brett Commandeur, Aaron Raham is also here.
Hello.
Hey. And, of course, Glenn Meyer.
Hello. Did it switch to me?
It did switch to you. That's
Excellent.
the magic of Google+.
It's working.
Okay, so this email comes to us from Eric. He had a question about our Mass Effect 3 discussion. So he says, "Greetings, Hex19 crew. During your discussion of Mass Effect 3, one of you, I think it was Yuri. It was Yuri. That's me.
No way.
Mentioned that they felt like BioWare cut corners due to the time they were given, and then asked what for, because the game still had glitches and the endings were all very similar."
And I would say I also was saying this too, because like they got rid of hacking and the scanning and stuff, but I didn't actually really get, okay, you took all that stuff out, what did you actually give me?
I would guess that it's because they had to spend more time making the multiplayer, so I have a question. If you had to choose between the current Mass Effect 3 or a Mass Effect 3 with less glitches, deeper side quests, and more in-depth ending that gave more closure but had no multiplayer, which would you choose? Also, great job with the show. Keep up the good work. Thanks for writing in, Eric. We appreciate your kind words.
This is actually an awesome question.
So,
It's not
Aaron,
often we get fan mail either. It's good. Yes, hello.
you are the resident Mass Effect 3 expert.
So it seems.
Why don't you get us started on this one?
Okay, well, initially my first, reaction would be that, to bring up the idea that multiplayer was handled by the studio in Montreal, not the studio in Edmonton, which handled the main single-player campaign. So I don't know how much would be taken away from the single-player by the addition of multiplayer.
Well, I think he's giving it more as just a hypothetical.
Right.
So basically, if theoretically they could make one better by getting rid of the other, which would you choose?
I would choose better single-player. Because if they got rid of the multiplayer and made Mass Effect single player better, I wouldn't know what I'm missing without playing multiplayer, right? So it's not like I would feel like anything's taken away. It would just be an awesome Mass Effect experience. Now, if they were to like come in right now and say, okay, we can remove multiplayer like from the disc and make the single player better, that would be a toss-up because I love multiplayer on Mass Effect. But just if they were to issue it like the first time, like the first release of Mass Effect 3 without multiplayer to make a better storyline, I would definitely go for that.
Yeah, I'm really torn in the middle because I've realized that Mass Effect does two very separate things for me. Like, I love the story side of it. I love what Mass Effect 2 did for me. But I also really zeroed in to absolutely loving the combat and loving the opportunity that the multiplayer gives me with trying out all the different kinds of combat. I think it is just so much fun to actually just be with like friends and just shooting people, that side of it is even more enhanced in the multiplayer. So I am really, really torn with this one, but I feel like I would have to go with the story stuff because I feel like I can get that shootery kind of stuff from other games, like, I don't know, maybe the new Halo game. But yeah, it really was that story that I really wanted from Mass Effect 3 that I didn't feel, or not even this, like, the story, sure, there was some good parts of it, but if I could sacrifice the multiplayer and get that amazing Mass Effect 3 ending I was hoping for, then yeah, you'd have to go that.
Totally.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Okay. You don't play BioWare games for multiplayer. You play BioWare games for the story. Like, multiplayer is great and all, but I don't think that that's why anyone bought the game.
No, definitely not.
It's not why we bought the game, but it is a very, very good reason to keep playing the game. And I think what's a shame that for me, if I'm going to keep playing Mass Effect 3, I'm not going to do another playthrough of the story because it was a bit of a letdown, but I'm not sad that I still have the Mass Effect 3 disc because of the multiplayer. So it's not a reason to play, but I think it is a reason to keep playing at this point.
Yeah, like, it's kind of funny how there's no option to get rid of single player and just have a really super awesome multiplayer.
Is that not one of the options?
No, it's either like have multiplayer and the current single player, or no multiplayer and an improved single player. Because with other franchises, I might choose the other way around. But yeah, with Mass Effect, I mean, like, when I look back in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, what I'm going to remember is the story, not a few multiplayer matches I played after Mass Effect 3 came out. So, yeah, I was definitely really disappointed, and it would have been awesome if it was better. And I know that it wasn't a direct consequence of them having multiplayer, but if it was,
Yeah, I don't like I've said in the episode, I don't have that many issues with the overall story, but there were a lot of things we mentioned where they cut corners, like disappearing rocks, and I wish they still had scanning and bypassing and stuff like that. But yeah, I would still sacrifice the multiplayer for those little game additions.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they could still make the story better.
Yeah, Yuri and I were talking about how, because Yuri, you and Brett on the podcast were talking about how you wish that they had put in something where you could, like, side with Cerberus. Which,
yeah,
for the entire game, I think it's unrealistic. But if they'd, like, added a different tutorial mission where you're with Cerberus, you find out that they're screwed up, and then you meet up at the same place as you do at the end of the original tutorial. Like, if the multiplayer did take away time from it, and they could have added those little touches beyond that, and kind of brought in more of your major choices from the previous games, as well as focused a bit more on the character development stuff that I felt was missing, then good riddance to multiplayer.
Yeah, and it's not really that I necessarily, or I don't think even Yuri, we necessarily wanted one particular choice or one particular storyline that we didn't get. It's simply that that Mass Effect 1, they started off with, like, saying all your choices are going to be, like, have huge implications. Even in Mass Effect 2, there's a loading screen that says your choices may have a huge implication in Mass Effect 3, and I don't really feel that they did. Now, maybe they did on, like, a secret, or, like, not secret, but, like, on a lower level where because I only got my story, I don't realize what other stories are out there. I just wish that my choices, that I really felt like I was getting that, because even if I didn't feel that I was getting that. So no matter what the choices were, I just wish I had more of them.
Yeah.
Or yeah, their effect was more apparent. Because, like, when I played through in mine, especially, there's, on the Reddit at least, a lot of talk about, with, like, the Rachni Queen. So in mine, I'd killed the Rachni Queen, so when I found, like, the Reaper-constructed Rachni breeder or whatever, I was like, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. But apparently if you kept her alive, that doesn't change it. You still find the weird constructed thing. So, like, that doesn't make sense. If you kept her alive, you should just find her alive in there. And maybe trapped by the Reapers, but
she is.
That, like, there was no consequence of that choice.
Yeah,
So,
with, like, all this considered, like, it's not a dig at the multiplayer. If they come out with, like, a Mass Effect squad-based shooter, that's just, like, it's not a story game, it's just, like, commandos or whatever, I'd totally be into that. If it was just, like, competitive multiplayer and what they did in Mass Effect, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think for me, like, what I want to take away from this is I think it's amazing that they have the multiplayer in that, and I think it's amazing that they made it as an incredible experience as it is. But yeah, like Glenn says, you don't play BioWare games for the multiplayer. I think it's actually awesome that they're able to prove, like, no, if we want to make a multiplayer shooter, we can make a multiplayer shooter. But if theoretically they could have spent less time proving that and really make the story games that, you know, they're famous for, and I think that everyone would have liked to see that, no matter how good the multiplayer is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess that answers Eric's question. Thanks again for writing in, Eric. And thank you for joining us on this Hex19 Hangout. If you want to see more of our stuff, be sure to visit our website, www.hex19.com. We actually just released our Mass Effect 3 special podcast, which is just, like, packed full of in-depth Mass Effect discussion, so be sure to check that out. Also subscribe somewhere up here. I'm not sure exactly where, but do that to get all of our future Hex19 Hangouts delivered to your YouTube. So until next time, I'm Yuri Walkiw.
I'm Brett Commandeur.
I'm Glenn Meyer.
And I am Aaron Raham.
And thanks
Smooth
for
like
watching.
butter.
Thanks for watching this Hex19 Hangout, and we'll see you guys around.